Well, Mother Gothel is not very happy that she has found a new loved one, that she has left the house and also left her without her source of beauty. Because we find without the young girl singing a song that turns her hair magically to glow in the night, that she's not able to rejuvenate her good looks. So as she comes, she falls in love, and we find that Mother Gothel happens to stab the young man, and he begins to die. And as he dies, he has her cut her hair, so that Mother Gothel will never be able to use the source for her beauty again. Well, as this happens, and he begins to pass away, she cries. She weeps for her beloved, and one single teardrop comes out of her eye, the color of the sun. And that single drop drops upon the man's body, and he is healed. This is what I think happened with Jesus. Jesus, the Son of God, comes to us down from above. And as he does this, he is in relationship with you and I and Mary and Martha and Lazarus, and we find that he weeps. This was the very first verse I ever learned out of the Bible, because it was only two words, Jesus wept or he wept. And I find that this was showing us the compassion of Christ in our human state. There was a woman named Val Thomas who on May 24th of 2008 died. She had 2 heart attacks, and after her second heart attack, she no longer breathed. She no longer had any brain waves, and she sat in a dead-like state for 17 hours. They had cooled the body to preserve it, the organs in her body, and they kept her on a simple ventilator to keep those organs oxygenated as they decided what to do. She was truly dead. We find that rigor mortis set in on her body, much like it must have done with Lazarus. Her skin began to harden. Her hands began to curl in upon themselves. And right 10 minutes before they pulled the plug and they just were going to let her die, she miraculously woke up. For our science minds, it's hard to get around. We find that the nurse said, I'm sorry. And simply what Val said was, it's okay, honey, it's okay. Well, Val was from West Virginia, and we find that her faith was in God. She believed that God was still speaking unto her, that God was still going to tell her what his plan was for this young lady. She has since gone on to spread her message about how God is a God of resurrection, that God brings to us each a new life, a life that is abundant, that we find that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. As we become a people that are looking for that life, that new resurrection, how are we being people of resurrection? How are we telling our stories? How are we bringing about new life? Oftentimes we don't have these stories that are so close to us. But many of you know that in this past 2 weeks I had to return to my home in Wichita, that my stepdad was very ill. In fact, he coded twice, that he had a heart attack twice, and he died, and they were able to bring him back. We all have our stories about life and resurrection. We all have some good news to tell everybody. News that may be small or may be big. But as we find that news, let us be able to spread that news through our walking, we can show the path that Christ walked with us in resurrection. That if you go to one.org, you find that the mission for the Lazarus Effect, which is a group who provides medicines to those in third world countries and those who do not have enough resources to garner for the medicines, that it costs about 40 cents a day. Now, for those of us who watch TV a lot, we find to sponsor a child is about a cup of coffee a day. Do we all remember that story? It's a cup of coffee a day. Well, with 40 cents a day, we can help support those who do not have medicine for a senior cup of coffee a day. So we find that a cup of coffee for seniors is almost, 50 cents at McDonald's? Well, for 40 cents, we can send it to those who are not doing so well. And we find that when these people give their medicine, that it takes about 40 days to experience a resurrection of new life. We find that in Lent, it takes 40 days from our beginning in the desert journey to find the resurrection of Christ. There are so many different ways we can be a people of resurrection. Let's be in dialogue. Let's think about how we can be a people of resurrection. Amen.